There are many people that would consider themselves a fan of the very popular Harry Potter series, and you watching this video are most likely a fan of the Harry Potter series, and you've probably clicked on this video because of the title. However, some fans, and you also might be one of these fans, like to make up crazy theories to do with major or even minor events that occur during the Harry Potter trilogy. In today's video, I am going to go over 5 of the craziest Harry Potter theories that you won't believe exist. Number 1, the lifespan of a wizard. Yes guys, we are starting off today's video with something a little bit light, because as we get further on through the list, things get a little bit crazy. Many fans are very interested in Dumbledore because he always has looked like he shouldn't really be alive anymore. No offense to you, Dumbledore, but you kind of look like you are on the brink of death. The author of the books, J.K. Rowling, has hinted many times that there are so many differences between the wizards of the Harry Potter universe and the muggles of the Harry Potter universe. But the main difference between muggles and wizards is their lifespan. And what you may not know is that wizards in the Harry Potter universe can actually live up to 200 years old. And at the time of Dumbledore's death, he was actually 150 years old or thereabouts, I can't be exact. So he could have lived for a whole nother 50 years, but unfortunately he didn't. R.I.P. Dumbledore. But seriously though, imagine living for 200 years. I'm pretty sure you'd get a little bit bored of living, or would you? I don't know, let me know in the comments below. Number 2, the Dursley family were actually under a spell. Any Harry Potter fan will know that the Dursley family are the family that Harry Potter lives with up until he goes to the Hogwarts School of Wizardry. Throughout the years that Harry is living with this family, they aren't that nice to him, they're a little bit cruel to be honest, and they kind of have a reputation throughout the Harry Potter fan base for being the most hated characters just because of how mean they are to Harry. But guys, I have something to tell you, it might not actually have been their fault. They might actually have been under some kind of dark magic curse. This theory actually suggests that they might have been under the influence of a Horcrux, which is actually an object that a dark wizard would use to put their soul into so that they can have immortality, and Voldemort actually did this. Voldemort split his soul into 7 fragments and put them into 7 different Horcruxes, and one of them was the boy who lived, who you may know as Harry Potter. Now, you guys might be thinking, where does this bring the theory into play? So basically, where this comes into play is that the soul inside the Horcrux doesn't just sit there and do nothing, it can actually influence and possess people that are around it. And as Tumblr user Graphic Nerdity actually states, if it can possess and influence people, then this could have very well happened to the Dursley family, and this could suggest why they are so mean to Harry. Harry is technically a Horcrux and he could be emitting this powerful entity, so it would make sense. But still, it doesn't really excuse the Dursley family being so mean to Harry for so many years. It must have made his life a living misery. I cannot imagine it. I feel so sorry for you, Harry. Number 3, Ron Weasley is actually Albus Dumbledore. Hold up, I know that this probably sounds even crazier than the last thing that I just said to you guys, but there are actually many fans out there that believe in Dumbledore being Ron, but it is actually Ron from the future. Both Ron and Dumbledore actually do share quite a lot of similarities, which is one reason out of so many reasons why fans believe that Ron and Dumbledore are actually the same person. So some of the characteristics that they both endorse is they both have long, thin noses, and they both actually have very similar injuries to their leg. As I said, these are just some of the crazy coincidences in the physical characteristics of Ron and Dumbledore. There's just too many, I cannot go over them all in one video. Tumblr user Marcy Catherine actually made a very good suggestion, which actually consists of the idea that Voldemort actually did save part of his memory into the diary of Tom Riddle, and then he used that memory to come back to the real world. So why couldn't another very powerful wizard do the same thing? Dumbledore could have also have done this. It's very possible. Ron may have grown up to be the wizard that we know, known as Dumbledore, and after having stored part of his memory until the event of the birth of Harry Potter, and then he may have revealed himself as a physical being during that time. Number 4. Ginny Weasley dosed Harry with a love potion. Yes, this is a very crazy theory within itself, but Ginny may have actually dosed Harry with a love potion during the Half-Blood Prince, which is the 6th book in the series. It's thought that she may have done this to make Harry fall in love with her, because as we know, it actually does happen. Harry does fall in love with Ginny, but it happens a little bit fast, so this is why this theory has become a thing. It is very clear that potions are a theme during the Half-Blood Prince, and we also see many different occurrences where potions are actually used on other characters, and some of the potions that are used are actually love potions. So it's very likely that Ginny could have got her little hands on one of these potions for herself and then used it on Harry. I know, it's quite crazy. Throughout the timeline of the series, we don't really see Harry having any kind of love interest in Ginny up until this point, so it makes people very suspicious. Like I previously said, Harry falls in love with Ginny just a little bit quickly. It is actually known that Ginny's own mother did something like this in her own school days, and also Fred and George have sold and they do make their own love potions, so it kind of runs in the family. Number 5. Hermione is actually Harry's older sister. Sorry to break it to all of you hardcore fans that ship Hermione and Harry together, but they may actually be siblings. From the very start, Harry and Hermione have been the best of friends, keeping a very platonic relationship between the two, but fans believe they may be more than this, and they could in fact be siblings. This theory suggests that Hermione is related to Harry, but her true identity has been kept a secret from everybody, including Harry. Lily and James, who are the parents of Harry, may have had a daughter but kept her identity a secret and then put her up for adoption, which is why we see her with Mr. and Mrs. Granger throughout the series. Mr. and Mrs. Granger are supposedly her adoptive parents and not her real parents, but we don't really know. Just like with everything on this list, these are just theories, so they haven't really been proven. But just to add to this point, Mr. and Mrs. Granger don't really have any characteristics, physical or mental characteristics, to Hermione herself, and it is known very well to fans that J.K. Rowling always tells us about features of physical resemblance between relatives, but like I said, Hermione doesn't have any of these with her so-called parents, so it could indeed mean that they adopted her and they didn't really give birth to her. It could be very much true. There is a strange lack of background information concerning Hermione as well, and it seems very weird that Hermione knew a lot of stuff about Harry as she first met him, and she also speaks for Harry quite a lot, whereas nobody else really does. Like for example, there's one part in the book where she actually says, "Don't be silly, Harry wouldn't kill anybody." So she's speaking up for Harry, taking his place and kind of saying things for him, which, like I said, nobody else really does that throughout the series. And she also talks about his parents, which again, nobody else really does apart from their old friends, so it's pretty crazy. It's actually thought to believe that Hermione's true identity has been kept a secret from Harry due to the family wanting to actually protect the Potter bloodline, because as we all know, Harry's mind is somewhat connected to Voldemort's, and Voldemort must never know the truth, so it is deemed a very risky task to tell Harry anything about Hermione, being his sister, because the Potters want to protect their bloodline, and Voldemort obviously knows that Harry is a Potter, but he doesn't know that Hermione is a Potter as well, or could be. Like I said, it's just a theory. Also, to add to this theory even more, wherever Harry goes, Hermione always seems to be there backing him up, supporting him, rooting him on, and protecting him. So this just further complements this theory. I left this theory until last because it has to be the craziest one on the list in my personal opinion, but I want you guys to comment down below which of these 5 theories do you think was the craziest. Did you know about any of these theories? Do you agree with any of them, or do you actually think they're all bogus and they don't really make any sense? We'll see you guys in a future video.